there are two issues essentially that have been raised, Mr. Sajana. One, which Indians believe is due to historical grievances, and second, that this is also due to other countries meddling. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I don't know what the people whom you questioned, what they understood in terms of historical grievances, because that must have been a choice that must have been given to them. You must have given them four choices. One is historical grievances, other is other countries meddling, other is Canada's own problems, etc., etc. So historical grievances, meaning is it India which has historical grievances against Canada because of the Kanishka bombing in 1985? I don't think that that did happen. 329 people were killed, but that has not been a part of the discourse in India. That doesn't sort of rankle in our minds. It also doesn't rankle in the minds of the Canadians. As I understood, hardly any Canadians remember it or know about it. At least the new generation doesn't know about it. So, what are we talking of in terms of the historical grievances? Because otherwise, if you look at it, as far as people to people level contacts are concerned, as far as business contacts are concerned, there have been good, business ties. Our students are the largest numbers who are studying in Canada. Yeah. So I don't know what these questioners, those who were questioned, those who were asked these questions, what they would have understood from this historical grievances. And external influences, possibly they might have thought, this is the Five Eye grouping, Five Eye setup. All the intelligence was provided to Canada by the United States. So that is meddling in these affairs. And I think this has been an issue that has been discussed. There has been a lot of speculation that has been made on this, that possibly it is the United States that is trying to push and egg on Canada to take this forward and to establish somehow a link between the Guru Patwant Singh Pannu case and the Hardeep Singh Nijjar case. And India has completely denied. We are collaborating, we are cooperating with the United States on the Pannu case, but as far as Hardeep Singh Nijjar, there is no evidence, so we can't really take it forward there.
Very true. I mean, there's a very stark difference in how India's handled the case with Canada versus the United States. Shiv, can I bring you in on this, just to weigh in on this particular figure that we have out, in which about 11%, which seems, of course, like the lessest in this particular figure, but still a large number, that 11% believe external influence has led to this showdown.
Very, very interesting. And we all know, which countries' influences, could have triggered this kind of thing. Just like you, Akshita, my eyes are going straight to not the 30% attached to political fallout of the upcoming Canadian polls, because that's the obvious number. The much more non-obvious number, which I'd like to analyze, is not the 24% or the 30%, but the other two, the 11%. We know what's happening. There's an interview that's just out with the ambassador of the United States to India as well. We've seen the US stand as far as Canada is concerned so far. So that is something that, is pretty clear to see. But allegations of India involvement in the killing of Nijjar, again, I'm very, very surprised that, as much as 13% of people believe, that is the root cause of India-Canada diplomatic tension, because this demonstrates that there is a lack of understanding of just how far back Canada's treachery and hypocrisy on India-designated terrorists actually goes. For the last few days here on India Today, we've revealed specific instances of Canada literally not just tolerating or providing a safe haven to, but actively funding, protecting and employing India-designated terrorists, including as far back as the Kanishka bombing. So the root cause of India-Canada tensions, to me, is not really about anything else but the immediate political fallout of what Justin Trudeau actually faces in that country. But this is a legacy issue that's been going on for a very long time, and I completely agree with Ambassador Sajjanar on that front.
If you look at, I think, the public's knowledge on Pakistan and China, everyone knows about what really our relationship has been like with Pakistan and China. My suspicion is that considering the survey was done on 15th and 16th October, not many knew about what really has happened with Canada. Since, of course, we've put it out here on India Today, we've spoken about the past also with Canada. I suspect that if you did that survey today, the numbers would be very, very different from what we're showing right now, considering the survey was done on 15th at 16th. Shiv, Ambassador Sajna, just stay with me. Let's put out, in fact, more of the data that we have of what Indians have to really say about this current showdown. Let's get you, in fact, more figures on this. We've shown you what really Indians think is the root cause. What's the public opinion on the impact of the Canadian government's stand towards India? 30% believe there will be no role whatsoever. 24% say there will be a significant dent for India. The opinion has been misrepresented by the media. Interesting that 70% think that's the case. 13% say it depends on current events. So this is what the public thinks will be the impact of the Canadian government stand towards India. So you've got 30% saying there's no role whatsoever. Let's bring up the next one as well to quickly run you through all of the data that we have. The impact on Indian professionals who are currently seeking work in Canada. And this is an important one because there's been a lot of talk of what really happens to all those who plan to go to Canada. Very concerned. So now we've broken it down also for you, looking at it also from a political sphere, which is very important because we've shown you in previous data how some believe that, look, this is a diversion tactic and whatnot. So let's get you, besides this breakdown, the overall figures really, what this actually has an impact on. The impact on Indian diaspora in Canada, increased scrutiny and tension. 39% of, in fact, the data from the India bloc states say 39%, 40% for, in fact, the NDA bloc. So these data figures are also extremely important. As far as Indian professionals go, as far as Indian students go, Ambassador Sajna, there is a bit of concern. There is a bit of worry that what we've been seeing right now playing out between India and Canada could impact them and could also dent all of those people who are looking also to travel to Canada. Do you see lesser people now looking at Canada as an option?
Yeah, absolutely. I would think so, because, let me first come to the point, Akshita, that you had made, and my mind was exactly on the same issue that, were the survey to be conducted today, I think the results could be quite different in terms of many of the issues, particularly, after the High Commissioner from Canada who's come and, his interview was carried last evening by all the channels, and he has come out in a very sober way, in a very measured and a deliberate way. He has come out as to what the problems there are. And I think, the people might think that the media is hyping some of the issues, but when they hear a responsible voice, a responsible person, responding to all these questions that are posed and saying that the basic reason for Mr. Trudeau to behave in the way that he did, act the way that he did, was basically because of his domestic vote bank politics, then I think that is a message that would have gone home, much more strongly. Now, coming to the question of students that you have posed, Akshita, I would imagine that, the students would be worried, the parents would be worried, and they would not like to send their wards because, after all, it's, number one, it costs a lot of money when you send people there. And when their security and safety is at risk, and if, meaning, I'm sure all these people would have heard the interview of Sanjay Verma, and he said that there is a possibility that some of them, impressionable minds, etc., that they are lured by the Khalistani extremists, Khalistani separatist elements, etc. And because some of them might, coming from middle class, lower middle class families, and they're running short of cash or money, and then they are lured by them. And that could lead them, if the company is not right. So I think it is definitely going to have an impact on the mind, the psychology, the thinking of students who might be wanting to go there. And also as far as professionals are concerned, because they would think that if there are people who are going to be sort of, just running the streets, there are so many threats that are being given to the High Commissioner, to the Indian Prime Minister, to Air India, etc., that it will be blown up and all that sort of things, then the security and safety of ordinary individuals, Indians, that could also be at risk. So I guess it is going to have an impact, although I would hope that, what we've been saying, that till Trudeau is there, there doesn't appear to be any hope of improvement in bilateral ties. But hopefully, when the elections take place and a new government replaces him, then maybe slowly and gradually we'll be able to retrace our steps and get back to, the situation as it prevailed during, the time of Stephen Harper, which was 2014-15.